What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels, and I gotta have a conversation with you guys about Tiege Hanley because you see how the sun is hitting me. This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Tiege Hanley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because we would do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people when I see Dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self-care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Get your Tiege Hanley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. What's going on? Is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels. It is Tuesday, February 4th, 2024, year of our Lord. You are absolutely right. Primetime 87 last night was mad chill. It was wild. It was a wild place to be. And so if you guys are not a part of Q's show on Monday night, then you should definitely make sure you tapping in and tuning in because it was really crazy. I'm not even going to kid you. It was wild. It was a wild night. But what's going on? We here for a new day, new opportunity to do great things. I hope you guys are absolutely tuned into the Bag Chasers. If you are not a part of the Patreon, then do not tap in with me and ask me if I'm doing coaching calls. If you're not a part of the Bag Chasers, don't ask me how you can level up and be able to get to the bag when it comes to investments in your stocks. If you're not a part of the Bag Chasers, do not ask me how you can make sure that you add more value into your small business and expand it. You need to be a part of a community. You need to be a part of a group. That is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Do not ask for anything unless you are part of the group and the community, and make sure that you dive into the Discord, which is in the description of any of the most recent videos inside of the Bag Chasers, inside of the Patreon. All right? All right. So we also want to give a shout out to the sponsor of the show, Tiege Hanley, 40% off your first order plus 20% off of life. If you're not a part of the Tiege pack, then go and get your Tiege pack. What up, ladies? What's up to my ladies? What up? What up? What up to my fellas? All of the truck drivers, I love y'all. All of the daycare workers, what up though? To all of my church members, I see you. Keep me on the big screen. I promise you I'm not going to curse. To everybody working from home still, even though most of y'all are back into the office, to all of my hybrid workers, to all of my nurses, to all of my healthcare workers, tech workers, to the Amazon warehouse workers that got me inside of their headphones, to everybody that show love on a regular basis, I just want to let you know that I appreciate you. I love you. Hopefully you recognize all of the hard work that it takes to actually put on all of this content and never miss. Never miss on the bag chasers. Never miss on this content. Never miss when it comes to live streaming. Never miss when it comes to dropping the clips that you guys need on a regular basis. Hopefully, I fuel you to continue to do what you do on a regular basis, because it's my job to keep you occupied with things that entertain you. But also, you know what we do. We put the medicine inside of the candy. What up to all of my friends and family? I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. What up, what up, what up? You out there trucking wine? I see you, big dog. Tap in with your boy. Make sure that y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications, because we got a live show for y'all today. And on top of that, make sure you send this to your family and friends. If you've been here more than once, there's no reason why you should not be subscribed. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and then turn on your notifications so that you know when we go live, because we go live every Monday through Friday, every week. And then we got after hours tonight. Y'all ready to go ahead and get started with the show? All right. Y'all said the return of Fight Club Anton. That wasn't Fight Club Anton. That was just a reality check last night. If y'all didn't watch it, go and watch the end of the show from the Q Show last night. We always put on a great show. Anyways, make sure you get your water. All right. Make sure you get your pills, once a day vitamins. And then make sure that you take care of your business and be on top of it. We got a lot of things to cover, including covering everything that happened after we went off the show yesterday with the United States, Mexico, Canada tariffs. China decided this morning that they wanted to levy their own tariffs. We want to get into that. We want to get into wasteful spending at the USAID. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. And more, much more. Illegal migrants, deportation. A New Jersey governor, they say that he had an illegal migrant inside of his house. We gonna get there. We gonna get there. Lots to cover, lots to go over, and then I'm gonna give you all my thoughts as usual. Again, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. What up, Mika? I see you in the chat. I see all of my friends. I see Jerry. I see Kim Bread, Molly, AJ Wise, Bishop Cam Nelson, your car, and all of my friends and family. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Anton is going to continue to put on. But before we do that, we got to get into a little bit of prayer. Lord, we ask that you come before us today. Be with us. Bless us not to be sensitive. You know that. Bless us to be on top of things. And bless us to recognize where we are in life and what our real purpose is. It's a lot of people that think that they supposed to be doing more than they supposed to before they supposed to do it. And I'm not saying that they not supposed to do it, but what I am saying is you got to put the cart before the horse. That's not smart. If you got to put the cart before the horse, that's not smart. You got to first, Lord, be a strong follower before you can show that you're a leader. You got to first be sure that you're a ruler over little before you are trusted with your people and souls and giving advice and all of this. And it's a lot of people out here giving bad advice. They giving bad financial advice. They giving bad relationship advice. They're giving bad advice when it comes to the way that we supposed to vote. And they also telling us that we supposed to follow them into the movement, into the voting booth, into their households. Bless us to recognize exactly what our role is and play that role into a T until we learn and we get to the point to where we can actually grow and be better, right? Because you are trusting us with a lot, and we can't be fumbling people. We can't be fumbling souls. We can't be fumbling opportunities, and we have to be accountable for everything that we do and the people that we affect on this earth, Lord. But bless us to take it serious. Life is not a joke. Opportunities are not a joke. Bless us to fight for great character, and bless us, you know what, Lord? This is what we really need. This is what we really need. Bless us not to be loud and wrong. Bless us not to be loud and wrong. Because sometimes we really believe what we say that we believe, but we wrong and we loud at the same time. And we think we making a point, but we really not. We really just giving bad information. Bless us not to be loud and wrong. Bless us to be quiet and smart. Quiet and smart. That's what we're going to do in February. Black History Month. Quiet and smart. All right? Honor your ancestors by shutting up and making sure that you learn something instead of talking too much about what you think you know when you don't know nothing. In Jesus' name. Amen. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, well, it's loud and wrong. Just loud. Just. You know what that means? I'm gonna teach y'all something today. Um, in my household, we gonna jump right into the show after that. In my household, if conversations extend for too long and they not making sense, and this is God's honest truth on my father's grave, I put it on my daughter's life. And I do like this. Let me show it to you up front, up close. I mean, I caught your lips, and I shut them. And so you immediately got it if you were in a mid-sentence, yeah, because you just, because I caught your lips, and now you got to shut them. That's what that means. Silence. Got it. Silence. Most of the time, the ladies in my household, they decide to bust out laughing. You so funny. Caught your lips. Shut them. I'm not lying. I promise you on everything. I let it go for a little while and then be like, and they could do all of this that they want. But long as you time out. And if you really want to get out of hand, and I'm ball it up and then throw it on the ground and stomp on it. That means you got to be quiet for the rest of the day. Otherwise, you're on timeout for like 15 minutes. I'm going to let you sit with your thoughts and think about what you were saying before you say it, because I don't want to have to say things that I don't want to say. I want you to address it yourself. I want you to self-correct. Catch it. Fellas, don't get in trouble doing what I do. You got to know your wife. You got to know your spouse. You got to know your daughter. You got to know everybody that's inside of your household. Catch it. I got it. I got it. All right. Okay. So, Molly, it's the truth. If I call Rita right now, she'll tell you what it means. Hey, listen, if I catch your lips in the mid-sentence, what does that mean? She'll tell you. She'll tell you. It ain't a lie. It's 100% real. I don't want you out there trying to catch your chick's lips, and then she's still talking. Who you think you talking to? You ain't got that. You ain't got the same thing. It's not for you, big dog. It's not for you. You're gonna try to catch some lips, and then you're gonna get some hands put on you, and then we're gonna have a domestic violence dispute. You're gonna be trying to say, Anton told me to catch her lips. I didn't tell you to do that. I told you what I do and what it represents. I didn't tell you how to get to the point where you can catch lips. Don't start doing it and thinking that you not. No lips catching for you. All right. So y'all ready to get started with the show? Y'all ready to get started with the show? Greatest morning show on earth. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notification. Let's get caught up on tariffs. Let's get caught up on what happened yesterday, because we had a couple of different countries. That's crazy when you can get to the point in life. Hold on one second. Cool New York. Somebody time out Cool New York and let them know that we move on our own time. Because, see, now you're going to extend the show by an additional 10 minutes just by me getting on you. Just by me getting on you. Somebody in the chat time out Cool New York and tell him that we move on the time frame that we move, and I will extend this show. I ain't got nothing better to do than to extend the show for another half hour if I need to. Nothing better to do. I ain't got no job that I got to get to. I ain't got no meeting that I got to focus on. It's Tuesday. Tuesday is a slow meeting day anyway. Somebody time out Marcus. Marcus 013 live. Anybody else? Anybody else feel the need to be able to rush the teacher into the lesson that we got going on? Or would you like detention too? Anybody else want detention? Anybody else? I don't have nothing better to do. I'm putting tariffs on everybody. Anybody that want to get out of line, we going to do tariffs. Malik Two-Turn. Give Malik Two-Turn detention for please. Somebody put a tariff on Malik Two-Turn. Give me a second. I'm going to go ahead and move the microphone away because apparently we got some problematic children inside of the chat that we need to address. Anybody else? Anybody else need a tariff? All right. Okay. Looks like we got we've addressed the Dusties. All right. Y'all ready to get started with the show? We're gonna redo this again. We're gonna do it over again. We're gonna do it all over again. Somebody put almighty suspect into tariff mode. Time out. Anybody else? T-Real, put a tariff on T-Real, please. Just time him out. Just give him detention. Anybody else? Relax Sounds. Put Relax Sounds in tariff mode. Anybody else? Would anybody else like a tariff? Thank you, LD. See, LD, it's always my snow bunnies. Let me get my snow bunny up here. That motivates me to go ahead and get started with the show. You see that? My snow bunny LD says, Anton, I can't say how much I appreciate your intelligence and common sense. Okay, well, I guess we can go ahead and get started with the show. Anybody else? All right, let's go ahead and get started with the show. Again, make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. All right, so revisiting exactly what happened yesterday, like I was saying, with Mexico and Canada. We had 25% tariffs going into effect starting midnight. Them phone calls start rolling in. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's recap, ladies and gentlemen.
We do have some breaking news just into us. President Trump now pumping the brakes on a trade war, pausing tariffs on both Canada and Mexico for at least 30 days in exchange for both countries beefing up U.S. security on their borders. Now, the big question right now, what happens with China? The massive tariffs on that country are still set to go into effect tomorrow. Watch.
We have meetings planned, and we'll see what happens. But that was just an opening salvo. If we can't make a deal with China, then the tariffs will be very, very substantial.
And a dramatic back and forth leading to a roller coaster day on Wall Street. The stock market closing in the red in just the last hour. The Dow rebounding from steep declines earlier, but leaving global markets in turmoil. Massive implications on the global stage and possibly for your wallet, too. The president says Americans could feel some short-term pain, stoking new inflation fears with higher prices possibly coming on fruits and vegetables, cars, gas, clothes, and electronics. We do have team coverage. NBC's senior business correspondent, Christine Romans, is standing by. But let's start with Yamiche Alcindor, who is near the White House. So, Yamiche, what do we know about this brand new 11th hour deal between...
Yamisha right here is proof of what we were saying yesterday, and that it doesn't really matter as much about your name, doesn't matter about your hairstyle, don't even matter about your weight. She absolutely exemplified everything that we use as an example of DEI, yet she's sitting there right on MSNBC, right on NBC, having a conversation talking about what happens at the White House. We have literally the perfect example of what we were talking about yesterday on the Monday night show of everything that you then need to do, because they told me that it's all about pretty privilege, and this is not to pick on her. I'm just using this as an example. Honest to God. Got the hair, looked like she a part of Umar Johnson's crew. Got the weight, obviously was talking about the Lyft driver yesterday. Got the hue, got the name, got a sh at the end of her name, and yet she's sitting right here on NBC now having a conversation with the White House in the background. Congratulations. Flies right in the face of everything that they tried to tell me yesterday.
The U.S. and Canada, and what will the president be looking for after this 30-day pause?
Well, Ryan, this news is just breaking because President Trump just posted online. He is confirming that the tariffs on Canada are going to be paused, it seems. And he's listing a number of things that Canada is doing really as a concession in order to get these tariffs paused. He said Canada has agreed to ensure we have a secure northern border and to finally end the deadly scourge of drugs like fentanyl that have been pouring into our country, killing hundreds of thousands of Americans while destroying our families and communities all across our country. He goes on to say Canada will implement their $1.3 billion border plan as per Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. So it sounds like he's saying it's his responsibility. He also goes on to say, I'm very pleased with this initial outcome, and the tariffs announced on Saturday will be paused for a 30-day period to see whether or not a final economic deal with Canada can be structured, fairness for all. So that's President Trump just in the last few seconds here posting online, confirming that he's now going to be pausing the tariffs for Canada. That was supposed to be 25% tariffs. They're going to be paused for 30 days. He also earlier confirmed that he's pausing the tariffs on Mexico for 30 days. Both of those countries, both Canada and Mexico, are saying that they're going to be sending personnel to the border, really giving in some ways what President Trump wanted to him. In the case of Canada, which says that only about 1% of fentanyl comes through their borders, they're saying they're going to appoint a new fentanyl czar, as well as list cartels as terrorists, along with a number of other actions. But all of this seems to be slowing down what was really an escalating trade war, Ryan.
Yeah. So what they're basically telling us and what they're basically breaking down is that both countries bent the knee. And I explained this to a friend of mine earlier, and this is how negotiations work. Remember when we were talking about the United States of America endorsing at that time, the Biden administration actually endorsing the UAW when they were fighting for equal wages and we want our fair share, and you know what I'm saying? And they started doing all of that, so on and so forth. Well, this is how negotiations go. And if you've ever read Trump's book, Art of the Deal, if you've ever understood negotiations when it comes to automotive companies, if you ever understood negotiations when it comes to union and so on and so forth, this is the exact thing that Trump has been implementing. Now, first of all, you have to have leverage. Okay? Leverage is your number one tool when it comes to getting what you want. Sometimes it's going to be some pain. Sometimes it's going to be some suffering, but you're going to have to be willing to suffer if you want to get to the other side of whatever your negotiation is. The second thing is when you're negotiating with more than one person, in this instance, we're negotiating with the world, but we want to start off with, obviously, they started off and they exercised it on the weakest first. You get the lowest hanging fruit. Oh, Colombia, you don't want to take your people back. Venezuela, you want to complain. Tariff on y'all. They immediately take it back before the tariffs go into place. And then they take their people back and then they go kicking and screaming, but they going to go. All right. They're not happy about it, but they going. In this instance, he then picked bigger players that were directly north and south of us. And he said, okay, guys, I warned y'all that this was coming. I know that y'all wanted to, show force with your own people and with your country. And you wanted to show that you have a backbone so you don't look like you cowering over to the Americans. So you waited to the last minute, 25% tariff, and then he put it on Mexico, even though Canada wasn't the most egregious player in this thing, but Canada is still, they need to make sure that they get on board also. Okay? Now, what does that mean? It means that Canada is going to suffer for what Mexico did, but Canada is also an egregious player too. So because we got a trade deficit with Canada, and because we don't like how it is that they do business with their people, even though we allow for their goods to come into our country, and we basically account for 40% of their trade, which is basically controlling their economy, we have the power, we have the leverage. But similarly, let's say, for example, you are a Teamsters union president, or you are Sean Fain with the UAW. They target probably one of the most successful of the group. So if they say Ford, Chrysler, and GM, and they say, GM, you've made the most profits, they're going to use that as the blueprint for then how they're going to approach the other automakers, but they need to make sure that they get the best concessions first from the most profitable company. In this instance, it's reverse. Trump is going after the player that's done the worst harm to the United States of America by allowing for people to fly into Mexico, come into this country illegally through the Biden administration. In addition to that, he's also dealing with them from the lens of allowing for all of these drugs to come into the country, as well as China being a major player and skirting the tariffs that Trump had in place, that Biden reinforced. And then what they did was they started to create factories and then hope that the Biden administration, through Kamala Harris, continue to become president of the United States of America, which would allow for them to continue to ship products up through Mexico into the United States of America, thus skirting the tariffs that Trump put in place, again, that Biden reinforced during his fourth term. And so they're using Mexico. Mexico is nothing but a shell company. That's it. They parade themselves around as having good tequila, that they got great tacos, that they ship in good corn, and that we like their avocados. But in reality, they're nothing but a shell company that allow for other states, other countries, other places, China, Venezuela, Guatemala, Japan, every single player that you can think of, they allow for other people to be able to use them to then get into the United States of America, to take care of business and do it through the United States of America more cheaper than they would just come in here and opening up a factory here. And then once we get Mexico in line, we implement that same thing over in Canada. And that's why you now see Canada saying, okay, well, we're going to send some troops to the border too. We're going to reinforce whatever it is that you want to do. We're going to prevent the drugs from being able to come to your country. But we also want economic concessions. And that's why Trump only paused it for 30 days. The negotiation tactics work across the board. The negotiation tactics, it work across the board. The same way that Sean Fain and the president of the UAW targeted American automakers is the same way that they targeted Mexico, and then they had a waterfall effect. What we then solidified with General Motors is what we're then going to have or using as a template for negotiating over at Ford Motor Company, and then we're going to move over to Stellantis, and then we're going to try to unionize Tesla and all of these other plants throughout the United States of America. That's the blueprint. And so that's what we did with Canada and Mexico, right? We said, Mexico, get your butt in order. You ain't doing what you're supposed to do. Canada, Justin Trudeau thought that he was an exception because he was a little bit more feminine. Claudia Sheinbaum, she didn't say nothing because she know that Mexico was out there doing some bad things. And then once they get a concession, they then use that same concession as a blueprint for how it is that they negotiated with Canada. Canada got to fall in line. But then at the same time, we only going to pause it for 30 days. Why? Because A, we got to make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to do with the first concession that you made. And then B, we want economic concessions. And so that's how we're going to approach this negotiation. It's the art of the deal, baby. Now, everybody that hasn't looked at things from a business perspective, raging liberals, rhinos, Republicans in name only, they will sit there and complain because they not used to ever pushing back. I can always tell the people that get taken advantage of at work. I can always tell the people that get taken advantage of at work. You know how? That's why women, I'm going to teach you a business lesson today. This is why women often at times take less than they're supposed to, and then they complain that they're not making equal as their male counterparts. It's the same reason why it's so easy to get them to vote a certain way inside of the elections, because they're not used to saying no. They're not used to standing up for themselves. They don't understand if they have worth or what their worth is, and they don't have multiple different competing offers on the table before they started to negotiate with this person. Most of the time when a woman moves over into a new job, it's not because she's actually disgruntled with the job that she has, or she currently has something on the table, or she has multiple different competing offers. She's doing it out of duress. Most of the time, women either go up in the company that they have, or they wait till they get laid off, or they need a new job in order to go to a different job, which then give them no leverage. It gives you no leverage. And this is the mentality that they have. And this is why we don't need women as leaders, because often at times they're in the tail end, they're on the back end of the negotiating table. This is why when we see people and these raging liberals on these social media sites then say, I can't believe it, it's going to cost us more in avocados and eggs and stuff like that. The rest of us, the men that's used to it, they say, yeah, we understand what's going on. We paying attention to what's happening. This is the art of the deal. This is easy. This is why we able to negotiate better and say, you know what I'm saying, at our jobs and get the best deals. Because we always wait for the long-term deal when we can see it happening before that. We playing chess. You playing checkers. I know you need the job because you ain't got no other options, so I can lowball you. But when you got options and you're willing to walk away from the table because they need you more than you need them, then you're able to get the best deal. You don't want to hear me. This is why you see these women and raging liberals whining about the possibility of prices going up, not knowing that it was never going to be a war in the first place. This is a one-sided deal. We just gonna wait till you go ahead and submit. Let's continue.
And let's talk about this, Yamiche, because it's a big question as to whether or not this is the beginning or the end. And the president already himself suggesting that tariffs on the EU could come next, the European Union. Could the White House target some other of these top...
Remember the blueprint. Colombia, Venezuela. Then we got Mexico. We have Canada. The EU is next. The EU will be submitting. The EU will be United States of America lapdogs, 100%.
Trading partners soon?
It sounds like it. President Trump has made it very clear that he sees tariffs as, frankly, a diplomatic tool to push and force countries to do things that he wants them to do. So the fact that he's already invoking the European Union as being his next target in this shows that he might be putting new tariffs there at some point. It also is interesting that he's saying in the next day or so he plans to talk to the president of China. He's expecting, at least on Tuesday, they were supposed to go into effect 10% tariffs on China. We don't know if those are going to be paused. Right now, they aren't paused. But it's going to be interesting to see how President Trump moves forward with this. It's also very clear that the president just overall has been saying that America has been getting taken advantage of and that he wants to use tariffs in a number of countries to make America what he says very strong and very rich. Ryan.
All right, Yamiche, I'll send her out.
Somebody says, Anton, why are you supporting a government that hates you and works for the WEF and not you seriously? No, the government hates you. No, let me explain it to you for the people in the back. The government hates you, big dog. You know why? Because you are a nuisance and you don't add value into the American system. See, I understand where my value lies. I understand that this is a class war. The reason why the government loves me is because I contributed into an American economy. I'm a taxpayer, and I actually put jobs in place that allow for the American dollar to circulate, and I understand how money works. The government loves me. The government hates you because you are a nuisance. See, this is how I know when somebody is dusty. Dust mites always leave trails of dust on a regular basis. The government hates you because you on Section 8, you got food, your girlfriend is on food stamps. You know what I'm saying? You always driving around with no insurance. The government loves me because I'm an actual contributing member of society. See, what you don't understand is we got social security numbers as an identification. It's almost like being prisoners, right? And they look at us as a number, and they don't look at you as a race. See, when your name come up and they say, hey, where's Ben at? They don't look at Ben. They look at Ben's social security number. They say, yeah, Ben is a dusty. Ben is a dusty. We gonna have to figure out what to do with Ben. You know what I'm saying? When they look at Anton, they say, okay, this is a contributing member to society. We're gonna have to make sure that we take care of him, and we're gonna craft laws that's in his favor. See, they don't look at us as a race. They look at us as a number. And because you're not a contributing member of society, they hate you. They love me. That's the difference. I understand that the value that you have is what you then bring to the table. You know what I'm saying? It's just like a relationship. Everybody wants to be used. Everybody is going to be used, but we don't want to be misused. We know what we contribute to society. We know what our value is. You know that if you died today, nobody would care and it wouldn't be a problem. If I died today there will be a whole bunch of live streams saying, what happened with Anton? Where did he go? Oh my God, I can't believe it. What's going to happen with my job? It's going to be a lot of people mourning. It's going to be flowers. They're going to live stream my funeral. They're going to actually miss me, and they're going to memorialize me. If you die, it's going to be just like your avatar. You just a letter. We don't even know if they're going to cremate you or not. We don't care if they bury you. We don't care about that. If I die, people care. If you die, it doesn't matter. Nobody cares about you because you didn't contribute anything into anybody's life. And so your value is zero. My value is here. Your value is here. If I die, people care. If they going to research and try to find out what's going on, they're going to check on my wife. If you die, nobody cares. That's how the government looks at us. It's the same thing. I hate to give you that reality check, but it's the truth. Me die, big deal. You die, no big deal. And that's why y'all want me to get into the dust with you and have no value, because pigs that play in the mud like other pigs that play in the mud with them. I don't want to play in the mud with you. That's why you watching me and I'm not watching you. You subscribe to say that. Learn something. Add value into the community. Do something better for the next generation. Leave this earth in a better space had you not been here. Don't just be an avatar. Don't just be a letter. Don't just be when people in the street say Anton Daniels, they say, oh, that guy from, when people say Ben Alamark, they say, who? See what I'm saying? You got to be a contributing member in society, and then people will value you. All right, y'all, let's continue. I guess y'all want to be this. Y'all want to do this on a Tuesday? I thought that was for Friday. Y'all want to do this for Tuesday, or y'all want to save this for Friday? Let me go ahead and read some of the super chats and the cash apps. I didn't do that. Let me turn on the red, because apparently I guess we going there today, huh? I guess we going there today. That's crazy, though, to think about, right? Like, nobody cares about whether or not anything happens to you. Shout out to Mike, that dude. I appreciate you, big dog. I'm just going to tell you the truth. Shout out to Spencer Campbell. I appreciate you, bro. Said, God bless and have a great show. And shout out to my dog, ESD. See? And then Rand Wilson says, I'm tariffing people today. I'm going to give you a reality check. I'm going to give y'all a reality check that y'all father should have told y'all. Y'all didn't know about it? I'm going to tell you about it. Godsend77 says, Anton, last night's panel was the most incorrect, emotionally charged, long-winded group I've ever seen on a show. Have to mute them, big dog. Yeah, it was crazy. But it was fun, though. Fatty talks too much, hijacks the whole show. Fatty had fun. We like Fatty. Shell Shock says, I can't wait to hear the prayer for today after the old time. What? Don't be looking forward to my prayer, because then y'all gonna put pressure on me. That Victim Olympics crap was just way too much. Well, I had to give him a little bit of reality check. I guess it's Black History Month. Don't worry about it. Shout out to Random Car. I appreciate you. Her, tariffs. That's what we doing today on a Tuesday. EB Miles Davis says, I'm stealing this one, put tariffs on them. Got to put tariffs on them. We not playing no games. Showcase Classics in the building says, I love this so much, whether it's the Millionaire Morning Show after hours or the show with Q. Highly informative and entertaining. The message stings me at times, but I make adjustments. Thank you, AD. You welcome, my friend. Shin C in the building. Shout out to Shin C. I appreciate you. Salute. JT Coin Ring says, thank you for the thorough breakdown. You're welcome. Shadow Dragon TV says, the leading cause of death for ages 18 through 45 in America is fentanyl overdoses. Strangling its flow at the borders is more important than the price of eggs. I agree. Grit and Grind. I appreciate you. Grit and Grind says, that's my dog. And RJV in the building. I appreciate you. You have to be useful in this world. Even the Bible says there's no God without works. No faith without works, you mean. I think that's what you're trying to say. Anyways, make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm. Hey, be remembered. Be remembered. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Let's continue on. But China China, we knew that China was going to be a tough actor because China already has a history of being a tough actor. Chinese tariffs, they said that they're going to hit back on American citizens. And I wonder what that means. Well, let's deep dive into it. We're going to cover it from a different lens this time from CNN. Check it out.
And breaking this morning, one trade war is on after the U.S. retreated from two others. The Wall Street Journal declared this morning Trump blinks.
Oh, wait a minute. Before we get into it, I got another one. Gotta be one with an animated avatar with the dreads in their head. Bro, you need to. What did I tell y'all about this the other day? He wasn't here, but we gonna remind him. He says, bro, you need to humble yourself because you could easily lose it all. Why do dusty broke people say that? People with resources don't say that to other people. Only people that are dusty, that don't want the reality check that we give them, say that. I can't lose it all. That's not what happens. That's not what happens. Bro, even some of the most evil, egregious people on the face of this earth are rich. It rains on the just and the unjust. Listen, even if you are the most humble person on earth, it doesn't mean that you're going to have something. It means that you're going to be humble and broke. I'm not going to lose it all. I'm going to gain more. I'm going to get richer. I'm going to become more successful. I'm going to build more homes. I'm going to buy more. Did you know that I, honest to God, bought a car for my daughter yesterday? I did. She got 2 cars and she's not even 17 yet. I get honest to God. You want to see it? I wasn't even going to say this. I bought a car for my daughter yesterday. Hold on. We're going to come back to this. I guess it's Dusty Tuesdays today. We're going to come back to that.
Hello.
Hey, baby. Hey, Les.
Hi. Yes.
How was your how you like your gift yesterday?
It's actually so tough. Like, OMG, I love it so much. Like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna cry again just thinking about it.
What did you get? Tell me what you got.
I got a Ram TRX 6.2 liter. Yes, sir. Hellcat engine, everything.
Oh, you're so sweet. You know you can have everything.
Thank you.
You're welcome, baby. I'm not going to lose it. I'm going to buy everything. I buy everything I want. My daughter said she wanted a Hellcat TRX Ram. I said, you got it, boo. Every time you say something like that, I go and do something awesome. You want to see what it looked like? I'll show you it. She was crying. She was crying. There it is. There it is. That's it right there. You can't humble me. You can't humble. I didn't even vlog that one. I was just like, you know what? I'm going to leave that off the internet. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. I'm going to leave it off the internet. I'm just going to let it be what it is. Oh my God, Dad, you're such the greatest. She busts out tears of joy. I said, yes, yes, yes. You just keep getting good. Keep getting good grades, honey. Keep being a good girl. Anyways, let's get back to the show. It's Dusty Tuesdays. Chinese tariffs. We're going to get into it. Let's talk about it.
And breaking this morning, one trade war is on after the U.S. retreated from two others. The Wall Street Journal declared this morning Trump blinks on tariffs against Canada and Mexico after receiving concessions the countries had largely agreed to weeks or months ago. But China is a different story. A 10% tariff on Chinese imports went into effect at midnight. China retaliated immediately, a 15% tax on U.S. coal, 10% on U.S. crude oil, and large displacement cars and pickup trucks. Also, an investigation into Google for allegedly violating their anti-monopoly regulations. So,
let me make sure I ban somebody completely. All right, let's continue.
this is the back and forth over just the last few hours. Let's get right to CNN's Elena Treen at the White House. Mark Stewart standing by in Beijing. Elena, first to you. This is a trade war, the one that Donald Trump has not backed off from.
That's exactly right. And as you mentioned, John, the president's widespread 10% tariffs on all of Chinese goods went into effect at 12:01 this morning. We saw Beijing immediately retaliate with a barrage of their own measures. But look, this 10% figure is a far cry from the 60% figure we know that the president repeatedly talked about and threatened to levy on China throughout his time on the campaign trail. And it really signals that if the two countries cannot come to some sort of deal, we could see these tariffs increase even further. Now, we did hear the president kind of speak to this yesterday while in the Oval Office. Take a listen to how he put it.
We'll have some good meetings with China. We have meetings planned, and we'll see what happens. But that was just an opening salvo. If we can't make a deal with China, then the tariffs will be very, very substantial.
How many people actually think that Trump is bluffing at this point? He already has a history. See, China at first, they went and they complained, and who did they complain to? The world something or whatever? And said that they can't keep putting tariffs on us. China's economy, a lot of people don't realize it, is in shambles. China is experiencing an economic crash that they haven't seen in decades. Real estate is in shambles. They artificially tried to prop up their economy by building all of this stuff. Now they're tearing down all of these abandoned cities, these ghost cities that they have. They have different companies that are basically going into bankruptcy every single day over in China, and now we putting tariffs on them. They are absolutely 100% in shambles. And the reason that you start at 10% is because you want to ramp it up. And the reason that he also grouped them in and lumped them in right along with Mexico and Canada is because China is taking advantage of Mexico in order to continue to ship products into the United States of America. And so largely all of the Fenty is coming directly from China. And instead of them doing what they need to do in order to stem the flow of Fenty inside of the United States of America, because we ain't even got into the trade deficit yet, instead of them doing what they need to do in order to stem the flow of Fenty into the United States of America, they want to keep on profiting on the black market and thinking that they're not going to have to pay for it. Well, you start at 10%, then you start to ramp it up. And then China, in order to try to show some sign of force, they want to say, okay, well, we going to hit y'all with retaliatory tariffs over in the United States of America. Okay. All right. We know that Trump ain't bluffing. We know that he will leave them tariffs in place and continue to ramp them up for the entire administration and then pass them through J.D. Vance in the next election. 100%.
So you heard him, John, say that this is just an opening salvo. Now, look, we do know that the president is expected to speak directly with Chinese President Xi Jinping in the coming days. Unclear exactly when that will happen. But the key question, of course, is whether or not we could see some sort of swift deal come into place, just like we saw the president reach with both Canada and Mexico. Tariffs, of course, which were supposed to also go into effect at 12:01 today, but they were able to push that off for a month while the two sides continue to speak. Now, one thing as well that I know I'm picking up on in my conversations is how different Republicans could respond to a deal like that. We know many Republicans, particularly those on Capitol Hill, are a bit skeptical right now of whether the president is still just as hawkish on China as he has been in the past. It seems, if he is willing to make a deal with Xi Jinping, and maybe if these tariffs end up seeing an off-ramp like he had with the other countries, we could be hearing a lot of criticism from some of the hawks on Capitol Hill.
Yeah,
John?
That will be one interesting dynamic to watch for sure. Elena, stand by. Let's go to Mark Stewart in Beijing. And Mark, Elena used the term opening salvo because that's what President Trump said. And I think we get the sense this morning that China could have done a lot more, but is keeping some of its powder dry.
China could have done a lot more. In fact, I was discussing with a colleague earlier today, the one item that is not on this tariff list are soy products, which are very important to China because of the big pork industry here. If that were to be on the list, that could have a big impact. But we've been going through this list, and a lot of focus is on energy sources. No question those are important, but if you look at the Chinese economy, China gets energy from so many other places beyond the United States, such as the Middle East, such as Russia. So in many regards, this is a symbolic move. In fact, The list also includes American pickup trucks, which are not a very popular item among American consumers. Something that did.
Somebody said Trump can't bully other countries just because he doesn't like a deal. He absolutely can bully other countries. That's exactly what he can do. And it doesn't mean that he doesn't like the deal. It means that the deals that we've been doing outside of his administration hasn't been beneficial for the American people. Where's y'all patriotism? I actually seen somebody in the chat and he said something actually I thought was pretty interesting. He says, well, actually, I didn't even mark that one. I'm sorry. But where's y'all sense of patriotism? Don't y'all want America to be better than it was yesterday? Y'all want to keep giving away everything? You know why China loaned money to Africa? They didn't loan money to Africa because they knew that they could pay it back. They knew that Africa wouldn't be able to pay the money back. They loaned money to Africa as a way to subsidize the corrupt leaders so that they can then steal their land. You don't think that that's a form of bullying? You don't think them dumping cheap aluminum and cheap steel inside of the United States of America in order to try to drive a lot of the steel manufacturers out of business a form of bullying? See, just because it's not overt in your face doesn't mean that it's not there. And you rooting for another country is treason. In any other country, you would be sent to a concentration camp so that you can get your mind right. In any other country, but because America got freedom of speech and you got the freedom to say what you want to do, and Trump is removing censorship, even if it's something against him, you can get away with saying that type of nonsense here. But you got people living in America that's willing to give away our jobs, our resources, our proprietary technology, semiconductor chips. You willing to let them do whatever it is that they want to do just because you hate this country so much and you hate your lot in life. We love this country and we actually want to see it succeed, not even for ourselves, but for future generations. We actually want it better for the next generation.
Catch our attention, though, is that China is targeting 2 U.S. companies on a corporate level, putting them on what's known.
They would never let you get away with this if you was a citizen of another country.
A list known as the Unreliable Entities List. 2 companies, including one, PVH, which has Calvin Klein and Tommy Hilfiger, 2 very well-known brands, under its heading. China, in the most simple of terms, is saying that these companies are not following the rules and that if China wants to, it can punish it and take action on its investments, its imports, its exports, its worker visas. That could be very detrimental. Still waiting to hear from these companies exactly if they have been notified and how that will play out. But this phone call that we've been talking about.
It's funny, you know what? You know what's so funny? Also, y'all root for a country that's basically messing up the country. And I'm assuming that some of y'all, most of y'all are black. That's typing some of this wild stuff. There's one thing about white people is they could disagree with you, but unless they're, again, a raging liberal or an extreme left or something like that, they don't hate the country. They still want their children, even if they meth heads, even if they are the worst human beings, even if they are ones that rob the bank like Ben Affleck inside of the town, they still want their daughters and their sons to do better than them. They could be talking from inside of the prison wall and they could be like, son, don't be like me. I did this and I left some money in a Swiss account so that you can then have a better life. I sacrificed myself from you. And that's the reason why I'm over here being a bottom inside of prison. I'm giving away my man butt because I wanted you to have a better life. White people, generally, not the raging women that got pink hair, white people generally, they love the country no matter what. We love the United States. Poor whites love Trump. Poor blacks like poverty. Poor whites, they love their S10 pickup trucks, their custom deluxe, their Chevy custom deluxe. They stick with American values and we'll fight for this country and I sacrifice for you to be able to do what you want to do. Treasonous black women and black people a lot of times, and not all black people, but treasonous black people. It's so funny because then they'll say, we love Africa. We want to go back to Ghana and Johannesburg and Haiti. And meanwhile, China is over there subsidizing corrupt leaders so they can steal the land right from under the places that you say you want to go back to. So you're basically rooting for the country that's destroying the country that you from. Dummy. They own all the roads. They own all the leaders. They stole all the land. It ain't even America that's stealing the land over in Africa. We don't even want nothing in Africa. It's China. Go over there. Go over there. You're going to see more Chinese people over there than you're going to see people that look like you, that talk like you. They're stealing the land of the place that you hold so near and dear to your heart that you're going to go back to the bush. And you're rooting for them for your own demise. Dummies. So treasonous. So evil.
Is going to be crucial because it will determine where this compass goes. Now that China has retaliated, will the White House throw back more tariffs back at China, or is the table going to be open for negotiation? When these two leaders last talked 2 weeks ago on a phone call, China talked about a fresh new start. We'll have to see if that language holds in this upcoming communication.
When has China ever cared about anything except for China? You think that China actually cares about Russia? No, China is partnering with Russia because Russia has resources that allow for them to continue to keep their economy running. They sell them, for example, energy at a discounted price. So you got two countries that are in shambles trying to support each other because they hate America and they need to survive. China don't care nothing about nothing but China. And if it don't work for China's best interest, then they're not going to do business with you. You think that you getting on Red Note or you getting on TikTok, go over there and try to talk to, whenever people root for different people that hate them, it amazes me. It amazes me. You think that Chinese people like you? They don't like you. Only thing they care about is touching your hair because they ain't never seen nothing like it before. Have you ever realized that there's nobody that actually is a passport bro over to China? They go to everywhere. They go to Ladyboy, Thailand. They go to the Dominican Republic. They go to Sosua. They go to all of these different countries in order to go and talk to all of the women. How come they don't go to China? I see people saying that they're going to go to Japan because Japanese are much different than the Chinese, but they never go over to China. Have you ever wondered about that? How come y'all don't go over to this communist country that screen all of y'all emails before you send it and your emails go out a day later after you send it? They don't even like you and you're rooting for them. Why do you want to bully them? Because that's what we do. Winners win and losers lose. Winners win and losers lose. That's the way life works. We like Chinese. We're going to Red Note. And the Chinese people like, look at them. They stupid. Dumb people. Dumb people. Stupid people. We don't like them, but they're going to come over and give us our money. Okay. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. I got to give y'all some history lessons to remind you who you are. To remind you who you are. Your name is Bartholomew from Martin Luther King Street. Okay? For whatever reason, you thought that you and your big old nappy head was going to go and get some love over in a different country. They don't like you. Bartholomew. They don't like you. Dummy. You dummy. You better off getting some love where you from. That way you can actually get a job. Dumb. I like Chinese apps. Look at the black boy. Over here thinking that he can come over here and change things. The only people we like over here is Kobe Bryant and Allen Iverson. And Michael Jordan. Dummy. They like us over in China. The Nights for Everything says, good morning, AD. Can you put your morning prayers and short videos on one of your channels? and make one great. Maybe I could do it. I'll see what I can do. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. Please take off the black Air Force Ones. Okay. All right. Rest of the show today is gonna be a nice show. All right. F that, keep flexing, says Poster Mogul. Thank you, Poster Mogul. My dog Quinn says, can I get a company car with the gas? Quinn, you don't want to go over to LA and do any street interviews. P. Shank, what up? P. Shank says, good morning, AD. Did you see the Rubio interview on Fox News where he talked about how arrogant the USAID group was and forced Elon hand and locking him out? I did see that he dropped it. I didn't review it yet. I'm going to make that a part of tomorrow's show because we're going to do an extended viewing of it because the interview was like 20 minutes long. Just Being Honest says, Trump know what everyone know, even China. You can't win a trade war with the U.S. Too much money is being spent here. We are the last stop, baby. Hakeem Glass says, yo, AD Dusty, people love company. That's a fact. Pigs love other pigs that play in the mud with them. AD, please go review the DNC forum meeting. Chaos. We'll check it out. This wasn't a super chat, but I was going to read this one. It said, would you do the same thing if you had a boy answer? No, absolutely not. I would never buy a male son of mine a car under no circumstances. No. I think that you treat daughters and sons are completely different. Marcus says, AD, I appreciate you being an example of black excellence. Continued blessings, prosperity, increase to you and your family. In Jesus' name, amen. I love that. I appreciate you. Lucid Experience says, I had to look at the specs of that Hellcat Ram. That's tough. It's pretty crazy, bro. I ain't even going to cap. It's insane. I was driving it yesterday. I said, woo-wee. Trey D says, being a combat veteran and pro-USA, I don't understand why most blacks have communist mindsets. I don't either, bro. Mr. Lot says, for years trying to have placed codeine and rigged gambling machines in African villages. Funny how many pro-black folks don't know that China is getting served just dues. That's a fact, Mr. Lot. HT, I appreciate you, says, be humble. They going to hate me when I'm up. They going to hate you when you down. They going to kick you when you down and hate you when you up. Join the Chasers last week. I know nothing about stocks. How do I learn the info in quick, efficient ways to apply it effectively? Trying to bet on myself. Well, the problem is that you're trying to do it in quick, efficient ways. Watch the live streams. Watch the videos that we post. Every single live stream that we do, we repost it. And I teach you from a C student's perspective, step by step, so that you'll understand it. Let them stay blind, AD. Shout out to my girl, the happy girl. I appreciate you. Mr. Joe says, black people don't consider themselves American. They were indoctrinated to look at the American flag as a symbol of racism. Moses says, look at the black boy, bruh. What up, AD? I appreciate you, Moses. Thank you for holding me down. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. So, I thought that this was pretty interesting. As Caroline Leavitt decided that she wanted to go ahead and do an impromptu press conference to break down exactly what Trump's strategy has been so far, and more importantly, speak on USAID, and then help y'all to understand why it's important for us to audit every branch of the federal government. Hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's rock, ladies and gentlemen.
On Elon Musk as well as President Trump. But I do want to go right outside of the White House right now. We do have Caroline Leavitt speaking just to the media right now. Let's listen in.
The illegal surge of deadly drugs and of human beings that we have seen trafficked over the southern border and the northern border, hence the tariffs on Canada. And so the president is making it very clear to both Canada and Mexico that the United States is no longer going to be a dumping ground for illegal deadly drugs and illegal human beings. And you saw President Sheinbaum already conceding and putting 10,000 troops, permanent troops, I would add, not temporary, Mexican soldiers on the southern border to deter some of that illegal migration. So the president will continue to have these negotiations. I won't get ahead of him. He's also going to make sure that Secretary Bessent, soon to be Secretary Lutnick, and Secretary Rubio are deeply involved in these negotiations as well. Steve.
When will he speak to the president of China, and what will be their agenda?
Sure. Well, he said in the Oval Office it'll happen in the next couple of days. I don't have a schedule yet, but I can check with NSC and let you guys know. And we'll obviously provide a readout of that call either via White House statement like we do or via Truth Social like we do sometimes as well. Caitlin.
She's so well spoken.
Yes.
What kind of security clearance does he have?
I can confirm he's a special government employee. I can also confirm that he has abided by all applicable federal laws. As for his security clearance, I'm not sure, but I can check back with you.
Did he pass a background check, do you know?
I don't know about the security clearance, but I can check.
And do you know about anyone who's on his team that was at USAID this weekend or at Treasury Department, whether they also have security clearances?
I don't know, but I can check on that for you. Sure.
I want to ask about the hostage deal. We saw people coming out of Gaza alive because Trump managed to get this deal done.
Yeah, that's right.
And it was very emotional for people in Israel. Prime Minister Netanyahu is coming here tomorrow. He might not want to go through with the second phase of the deal. What do you think President Trump would like to happen?
Well, I'm not so sure that's true. The ceasefire was extended because of the work of President Trump and his presidential envoy, Steve Witkoff, who has proven to be an incredibly effective negotiator. And the president and this entire administration are committed to having all of the hostages come home. And as you've seen, his team is working very, very hard to do that.
We already saw one American hostage coming back home, and another
that's
one
right.
will be back home soon.
Yes, we hope so.
Caroline.
Sure.
Carolyn, the president's a keen watcher of the financial markets. How much did Wall Street's fall this morning have an impact on his decision in regards to the Mexico tariff decision?
It had no decision. What impacted the delay on the tariffs was the president of Mexico committing to putting 10,000 permanent soldiers on the U.S.-Mexican border. The president cares about American lives. And as I just said on television, there's a lot of talk about the markets. There's a lot of talk about, the cost of goods. This administration is wholeheartedly committed to bringing down the cost of living in this country. You see that through deregulation, through the energy actions this president has taken, and also through his commitment to cutting taxes. But when it comes to the cost of an American life, I think for those of us who have children, there's not enough money in the world to bring back the lives that have been lost because of the illegal drug and border crisis. And the president is committed to ensuring that Canada and Mexico and China understand that the United States is not going to be a dumping ground for illegal fentanyl that is killing young people in this country. It's the leading cause of death amongst those aged 18 to 34. And that's the president's number one priority, is protecting American lives.
Why wouldn't that be a priority? When y'all sit there and y'all want cheaper products, and y'all not going to get cheaper products, and I explained this on Q Show last night, you're not going to get cheaper products. Why, if it's the leading cause of death between young people 18 through 34, which is the core, the backbone of our future, these are the people that are going to be paying Social Security so that you guys will be able to have a Social Security income, hopefully untaxed, after the Trump administration leaves office. Why wouldn't you want these people to be able to thrive and survive? Why do you want them subjected to the worst of a culture and the worst of society after China gets done making a profit off of y'all deaths? Because that's really all they're doing. Why wouldn't you want to stop the flow of drugs? And I was asking him last night, I said, why wouldn't you want to stop the flow of drugs into the United States of America? At every turn, and tariffing Chinese, and making sure that Mexico actually, complies and stop the flow of fentanyl across the border, to have more American troops at the border also, to prevent it from coming into the north also. Why wouldn't you want that to be a thing? Why do y'all want China to continue to let Fenty to come over into the United States of America? Let me ask y'all a question. Why do people sell drugs in their own community? Why are we such a destructive people? Why don't we want something that's good for ourselves? Y'all was sitting there complaining about all of the things that happen inside of the hood, and don't you know that Fenty is the thing that's really killing y'all inside of y'all hood faster than any drug that happened prior to it? It's one of the most deadly things that you can get inside of the United States of America. It's crazy, bro.
Can you talk more about the first call that President Trump had with Prime Minister Trudeau this morning? What were some areas for potential negotiations and any bottlenecks?
Yeah, I hate to be coy, but just because I believe they're on the phone right now, I'll have to go in and check. I don't want to get ahead of the discussions or the conversations, but in the effort of transparency, we will either provide a readout or you'll hear from the president directly.
Caroline, what do you say to Americans who understand the president's negotiating strategy and understand the goals that he's trying to achieve with tariffs, but are worried they're going to get caught in the middle of this and feel the pain potentially in the short term or even long term?
Well, they won't get caught in the middle if they just comply with what the United States is asking for, which are very simple measures to work with us when it comes to border security, to cooperate with the repatriation of their nation's citizens. You saw President Trump effectively utilize tariffs when he was negotiating with Colombia last weekend as well. Ultimately, they conceded and agreed to the deportation flights that many of them have landed in the last week.
Carolina. And that's the key. Just comply. Really, I don't even think comply is the right word. I think that the right phrase is to do the right thing. It's nothing that Trump is asking for that's bad for American citizens. Nothing that he's asking for that's not fair. He just wants things to be fair. That's it. He don't want no more DEI. He wants some merit-based programs. He don't want any more money that's American taxpayer dollars going into subsidizing a bunch of stuff that don't really make sense. He don't want it flowing over into countries that's outside of the United States of America. He wants to do good business. He don't want us to be misused. He wants taxes to be lowered, life to be better, rates to be lowered, things to be taken care of. 2 weeks into his office, all he's done is advocate for American citizens, and you hate him for it. Even when it comes to these audits, and we're going to get to the audits, all he wants is to be accountable and transparency for the American citizens' dollars. Why wouldn't you want to know where y'all tax dollars is going?
Karen.
Do you know if Mr. Musk took the same oath that you and other senior advisors to the president took about adhering to the Constitution, following the law? Do you know if he took that oath?
I don't know the answer to that question, but like I told Caitlin, I can get back to you guys on that.
And do you know what expertise he has in the areas of global health or humanitarian aid to be able to assess what's happening at USAID?
Well, first of all, Elon Musk is a once-in-a-generation business leader. He is an entrepreneur. He serves as a great ally and a friend to the president. And I think Elon Musk also has a little bit of common sense. And I think the American people really appreciate that when it comes to the federal government, because it seems like all common sense has been lost in this city. And that's what you see when you look at USAID. I know Secretary Rubio made some comments about how he will be acting as the director over that agency. And here's the reason why Elon Musk and others have been taking a look. Because if you look at the waste and abuse that has run through USAID over the past several years, these are some of the insane priorities that organization has been spending money on. $1.5 million to advance DEI in Serbia's workplaces.
Y'all just stealing money at this point. Y'all are literally stealing money. Wait, let me see how much that was.
These are some of the insane priorities that organization has been spending money on. $1.5 million to advance DEI in Serbia's workplaces.
Why would we send millions of dollars to Serbia for DEI in their workplaces? I don't know if y'all remember this or not, but when Kamala Harris was in office and she was supposed to be the border czar, she spent the majority of her time traveling to different countries to advocate for DEI and the alphabet community in other countries, including African countries. This is the stuff that they're finding inside of the USAID. The workers in USAID are basically giving your money away. When they go through with this audit for the Department of Government Efficiency, they're giving your money away. Why would you want this?
$70,000 for a production of a DEI musical in Ireland.
We can't even get clean water in some of these places inside of the United States of America, and they spending it for a DEI musical in Ireland.
$47,000 for a transgender opera in Colombia. $32,000 for a transgender comic book in Peru. I don't know about you, but as an American taxpayer, I don't want my dollars going towards this crap, and I know the American people don't either, and that's exactly what Elon Musk has been tasked by President Trump to do, to get the fraud, waste, and abuse out of our federal government. Thank you, guys.
And then walked off on him. Let me give her a round of applause. I want to audit everything. Every single thing that is happening on taxpayer dime, I think that we need to be accountable for it. We need to go through with a fine-tooth comb And I want everybody laid off. Layoffs, tariffs on everybody. Let me read a couple of these super chats and then we're going to continue on with the show. In the African-American community, being married, raising your children, and being accountable is not embraced. This African-American culture is trash and has lowered their standards, says the chief. Appreciate you, Chief. Whiskey Pierre Louis says, Anton, did you see senators cry before because of Elon and Doge? I haven't. I got so many emails this week. It's crazy. Young Gladiator says, Anton, do you think the Mexican military will still allow drugs and cartel members across Mexico to be being so cartel ran? Well, that's why we also sending our own troops to the border. However, I will say that this is the reason why it's only a 1 month pause on tariffs, because we're going to see what happened. Everything is going to be reevaluated on a month-by-month basis to see what your performance is. We doing performance evaluations on Mexico and Canada. Listen, this is what Trump is saying. The reason why it's only a 1 month pause is because we're doing a performance evaluation to see what the data and the statistics say and whether they meet their end of the bargain. Are you guys stemming the flow of it? Okay, well then we're going to pause it for another month and we're going to reevaluate your performance. But at the same time, I want more concessions economically. That's why it's only a 1 month pause. It's because if they don't meet their expectations, tariff. You know what's wrong with marriage contracts? Is that they're indefinite. And that we don't get to do, well, y'all don't get to do, I'm fine. But y'all don't get to do a performance evaluation. We need performance evaluations. If not, then we got to renegotiate exactly what this thing is because you're not meeting your expectation. No, you said that you was going to be nice, cool, fit, feminine, friendly. And all I see is haughty, angry, frumpy, and frowning. We're going to do a reevaluation. If not, tariff on everything. Tariff on everything. We not playing no games with none of these countries. Everybody going to the front of the congregation. All right. So they cannot do it if they want to. We advise them to take care of their business. Keyshawn White says, Dad died from Fenty at 45. I'm passionate about this. See, a lot of people not passionate about it until it hit their desk. I've always said black people are better at destroying their own community than any other race. Overton window much. I appreciate you, Night Jade. Manuel AG says that's a mighty fine snow bunny right there. Y'all like Carolyn? Was that her name, Carolyn? Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's go into the second half of the show, ladies and gentlemen, and let's really get to it. ICE. Let's talk about migrant arrests. Over 500 plus with criminal records recently apprehended. Take a look.
Let's check in with Lawrence Jones. He is live down on our southern border in El Paso. He visited Fort Bliss with our defense secretary and our friend Pete Hegseth for that first border visit since his confirmation. And then they also flew on a Black Hawk with Tom Homan as well. Hey, Lawrence.
Hey, good morning, family. I just want to piggyback on y'all last conversation because this is why the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, was here. You know, a lot of people don't know, but we have a military assets that focus on the narcotics that impact our country. It was created back in the 60s by JFK, and that's U.S. Southern Command right here in Fort Bliss. That's why the Secretary of Defense was here. He said that we haven't been using these assets the way we should. It's clear that there's a threat coming across the border as it relates to the drugs, and they're going to get active real fast. Here's a little bit of our conversation yesterday.
We have no better negotiator at the helm than our Commander-in-Chief, Donald Trump, knowing how to use economic pressure to get results on the ground. Let's see how Mexico responds with troops and whether or not they actually do stem the flow. But all I know is what we can affect. And we are not going to back down. Intimidation is not going to work. And the message I have for the troops here is across the board is we have their backs. We have your back. We're going to give you the tools necessary to get 100% operational control of that border.
A lot of people talk about the corruption in Mexico. Can we trust those guys? Will they actually be helpful to the mission?
Well, they're helpful. The first administration, President Trump, made Mexico put military on the border, and it was very effective. He made Mexico agree to remain in Mexico program, right? This is national security. When we secure the border, less people die from fentanyl, less women and children sex trafficked, less people on terrorist watch lists cross that border. This is a national security issue. President Trump's going to shut it down.
So some people may be wondering what the setup is. Why have Tom Homan, the borders are on one side, and the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, on the other side? The Secretary made it very clear, Secretary Hegseth, he's going to focus on the outside of the border, going after the enemies there, making sure the border is secure from that aspect. Tom Homan is going to focus on Border Patrol, the interior aspect of it, as well as with ICE, hunting the bad guys, the criminal aliens inside of the country. It's a two-pronged approach, and then you got Marco Rubio that is going to be communicating with all those foreign countries to make sure they take their people back and they prevent them from coming to the country in the first place unless they want to do it the legal way.
That's right.
And that's pretty, what's so great about it is that the reason why Trump seems to be running so fast, and it seems like he's done 1 year or 2 years worth of work in only 2 weeks, is because they had already started to set things in motion. And this is how you know that this administration understands how to move, what to do, and how to take care of business. And they had already been planning for this prior to him getting in office, probably even before he ever even won the president of the United States of America. They have been planning on how they're going to take care of and go back to protecting American citizens and have this three-headed monster that basically prevents us from being able to have all of these problems and all of these illegal migrants and all of these drugs and all of these things coming across the border. We're not depending on Mexico to secure the border. We're requiring them to do their part. It's a difference. We send in our own troops. We're sending our own resources, our own monies. We're getting more Border Patrol agents. We're making sure that we're using military equipment, not to do stuff overseas, but to fly people back out of this country over into their own home country. I seen a video yesterday of a illegal migrant that said that their people were incentivized by the cartel and by people in Mexico to scrape together up to $25,000 to get her over here so that she can work and make money and then be able to pay that back to their parents because they're the ones that scraped up the money in order to get her over to the border through Mexico and through the cartels in the first place. So this was a racket the whole time. This is classic human trafficking by the American government in the previous administration, and nobody wants to say the quiet part out loud. There is a woman that basically was saying, let me pull it up for you guys. Let me continue to pull it up.
Right. And yesterday, Marco Rubio negotiated a deal with El Salvador. Now, El Salvador will be a safe third country. So anybody from, let's say, China that China won't take back, we can now send them to El Salvador. They said we'll take everybody, including members of MS-13 and Tren de Aragua as well. So that is going to be very helpful because just think about it. If you are being trafficked across the southern border by a cartel, I have no idea how they're going to get in. But if they are, how do you make that pitch? All right, if you get into the country,
see if I can find
you could live in San Diego or you could live in Omaha or whatever. But now the news is if you get in the country, you might get sent essentially to a mega prison in El Salvador.
That's El Salvador.
Or Gitmo.
Yep. And Lawrence was mentioning Tom Homan, the interior of our country. Over the weekend, they nabbed so many people. ICE did. The senior Trump administration official that talked to Fox News Digital said agents nabbed over 700 illegal immigrants over the weekend, including more than 500 with convictions or charges. And I was looking through the list. One person, a Honduran national,
That's
arrested
crazy.
in San Antonio, Texas, close to where you are, Lawrence. And she had a conviction of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Another one in Seattle, a Mexican citizen with a conviction for robbery and delivering meth. One in Phoenix, Arizona, a Mexican national with a murder conviction. One in Detroit, a Colombian man convicted of domestic violence and possession of cocaine.
So I just want to give you a tidbit, Ainsley, because those are the people that are already in the country. So we got to prevent them from even being able to make that journey across. Banks, he used to be the Texas border czar. He's now the chief of Border Patrol, 4-star. He had a process when he was the border czar in Texas with the National Guard, essentially instructing them to push them back. So what you've seen during the Biden administration, a lot of the migrants would just surrender. They've already did the app, and they knew they were going to get a notice to appear, and then they would be released in the country. Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, is adopting that same strategy with the troops on the border now. So people aren't just going to be able to surrender. If they see people trying to break in the country, they're going to say, go back. They will push them back. And if they attack those border agents, like with a mob, like they do with some of these caravans, they're going to have the pepper bullets as well, like Texas used then. So you're not going to see this surge of people coming across the border anymore. There are people there to meet them when they try to cross the border.
And of course, that underscores the very vital importance of the Remain in Mexico policy, because if they never actually cross the border, then it doesn't become a problem. It doesn't become our problem.
That's exactly right. And that is why the troops are on fire right now. They got fire in their belly right now. They get to do their jobs. By the way, I told y'all earlier I spoke with some of those troops. We're actually going to air some of that conversation of me speaking just with rank and file. I mean, in the last administration, we were prohibited from talking with them. We didn't get to hear their stories.
That's
Finally,
crazy.
The shackles are off of them, and they can tell the American people how they feel.
That's great. You said morale is up, and Brian Kilmeade keeps saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, that our border crossings are down 93%. Isn't that the statistic he always says?
Substantial.
It's
a big number.
Lawrence?
Yep, that's it, right. And they're trying to get the numbers daily so we can have a tracker, but it's around the 90s, Ainsley. I think you're correct.
That's amazing.
So Lawrence, when you were in that ride-along, in that Black Hawk, going from where you are, El Paso, to the west through New Mexico, how big are the existing gaps in the wall?
There are some big gaps, and I'm so glad you asked that question.
Man, I wish I could find that video.
I got to talk with the former border czar of Texas as well, who's now the overall the Border Patrol, chief of Border Patrol. And I asked him about the money, because this is a question that y'all guys asked me yesterday in the show. He said, essentially, they haven't used money from 2020, 21, and 24. So they're going to already start the construction of the border wall. Now, it's not going to be enough to complete all of the wall. They're going to need that reconciliation bill to pass. But there's enough money to restart the Trump wall that was incomplete.
Have they been able to get all those pieces back that the previous president tried selling off?
No, they haven't. They were able to stop some of it because a federal judge made them stop selling off the wall before in that past administration. But a lot of that stuff was sold. And you got to remember,
that's crazy. How you going to sell off a border wall?
Exactly.
They were so...
Check it out. So I was able to find it on TikTok. I thought that I was never going to find it. This is a Guatemalan deportee that is basically breaking down how it works in a lot of ways and why she came over here in the first place. This is what she says. She says, I could just read it because we don't understand what she's saying. I have a lot of debt I need to get rid of, is what she says. Because the smuggler took a lot of money from me. Nearly 200,000. Hold on. Nearly 200,000, which is basically the equivalent of $26,000 US. Okay. She says, that's why I need to get rid of that debt. I really need to get to the other side. I'm desperate to get back to the United States of America. This is a deportee. This is a person that was deported back to their country over at Guatemala. To give the best to my parents, they have nothing. We don't have a house. We only have a loan. And so basically, they people is scraping up all of the money that they can possibly scrape up to get them over here into the United States of America. They then basically fund these coyotes and these cartel members, and they're basically going through Mexico and paying whoever it is that they need to pay in order to get over here to the United States of America. And so it then became a racket. It became a racket. It became a place of opportunity because the dream was sold that they would be able to come over here to the United States of America and then make that money back real fast, send it back to their parents, and then continue to take care of them because we were going to subsidize their lifestyle. And it was easy for them to be able to get easy jobs, easy access, easy opportunities, then educate their children, and then have children over here that then become, what do they become? Birthright citizens inside of the United States of America, and then their parents can live like kings back where they were from. It's sad. It's absolutely sad. But when you stop it, and you stop it in its tracks, now people don't have the expectation to come over here and they can start to make their own country great. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Actually, let me go over to this next portion of the show prior to me reading Super Chat, so I'll read Super Chat shortly. Let me see something. Hold on. That's not what I wanted to talk about. The border czar is vowing to prosecute the New Jersey governor. I was trying to figure out what was going on with this because I actually seen a lot of these emails come through yesterday. Let's check this out and let's see what's going on.
Trump administration border czar Tom Homan. You know, Tom, great to see you, by the way. Thanks for what you do.
How is it a weird rant in that the federal government basically was running a racket aligned with the Mexico government of basically human trafficking? It's human trafficking, bro. When you incentivize people to come over here to the United States of America, that's why they took out the loans, and they had people taking out these massive loans and scraping together all of this money so that they can get their people over here to the United States of America. Basically, what you seen was tens of millions of people that was coming over to the United States of America over the last 4 years, and the money was going into multiple different places, including the cartel members, while we were subsidizing their lifestyle inside of the United States of America. The minute that you cut it off and you say, okay, listen, it's no more. We can't give away taxpayer dollars. We're not going to let people get over here illegally. We then going to respect the process and the laws that's on the book. And we going to also make sure that the people that are in line to do it legally get processed faster. And we need to get these judges and these court systems in place, and we need to get the people out of here that are committing crimes inside of the United States of America. And so we cutting off the faucet so that you don't then put your whole life on the line with these loans and these debt over in your own country in order to give it to the cartel members and then who God knows who else. Now we can basically stop the flow of people into this country and human trafficking in its footsteps, including over 300,000 children estimated that's missing. How is that a weird rant? How is it a weird rant to say that we don't want human trafficking and people should not be crying because they came over here illegally because they were incentivized to do so through loans that then went to cartel members and God knows who else and subsidized by the American taxpayer? How is that? Where are we missing it? How is that a weird rant? Am I missing it? Did I explain it the wrong way? We cut off human trafficking. We don't subsidize them with taxpayer dollars, and we don't incentivize them to scrape up a bunch of loans to send their people here illegally. What are we missing? And then they can start focusing on fixing their own country. Am I missing it? Are we all on the same page, or or no? I just want to make sure that we all doing this the same way. We all on the same page now? Y'all get it? All right, I just want to make sure that it's not just me.
Doing. I think that video says it all, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Where's her tears for the 500,000 children that were trafficked in the country, separated from their families, put in the hands of criminal cartels, and they can't find over 300,000 of them. I guarantee some of these children are sex trafficking and forced labor. Where's your tears for those? Where's your tears for the 250,000 Americans dead from fentanyl poisoning because of the open border? Where's your tears for the 600% increase of sex trafficking of women and children? And of course, where's your tears for all the young ladies been raped, murdered, and burned alive? So, it's just pathetic.
Yeah, well, you got some help from President Trump, and for now he got Canada and Mexico, Colombia, and even Venezuela to accept back these illegal immigrants. And you now have Gitmo as a place to put many of them. How important are those developments to you?
President Trump proves every day he's the greatest president in my lifetime, and I mean that. That he's moving at lightning speed. Look what we've done. You're right. Seeing airplanes of illegal aliens landing in Gitmo, a game changer. Seeing the Department of Defense take airplanes south with illegal aliens, first time in my 34 years of doing this job, a game changer. President Trump's making progress every single day. Our numbers already, remember, Sean, it wasn't too long ago, we were dealing with 10,000, 11,000 illegal entries a day. Yesterday, 524. And not one of them, not a single one was released. They're either returned or detained seeking prosecution. So game changer, greatest president of my lifetime, proves it every day. And look, we got a lot more to do. And I got a great team. We got the greatest president I ever worked for. You got Secretary Noem. She's already been on the ground with the Border Patrol. She's been on the ground with ICE. She's been on the water with the Coast Guard. She's done more enforcement actions in a week than my orchestra has done in 4 years. I got Pete Hegseth, shoulder to shoulder Pete Hegseth, giving us all the DOD assets to lock that border down. So, what a great team. You got Steve Miller, the architect, right? He amazes me every day at the White House. We have one hell of a team. We will not fail this president.
Let me read a headline to you. Chicago leaders encourage residents to exercise their rights in resisting Trump's deportation policies. The governor of New Jersey, Phil Murphy, basically admitted that he knew somebody that didn't have full documentation, that he was hiding over his garage. Then we have Tom Tillis, senator from North Carolina, saying that people should have the right to sue sanctuary cities and states that aid and abet in lawbreaking. Your comment on all of that?
I think the governor's pretty foolish saying what he said, because I got note of it. Won't let it go. We'll look into it. And if he's knowingly harboring, concealing an illegal alien, that's a violation of Title 8 United States Code 1324. I would seek prosecution, or the secretary would seek prosecution. So maybe he's bluffing. If he's not, we'll deal with that. And it's
okay. Wait. I was able to find the video, and I want to see if that's what he actually said.
Getting it. Okay. What is New Jersey doing to protect the LGBTQ plus community, particularly transgender people?
Yeah, we've done a lot. I'm proud that we've got the first trans cabinet member in the history of the State House, and Chris Myers, who does a great...
Oh, Jesus. Not the New Jersey governor. I didn't even know that this guy, you know what I'm saying? I didn't even know that. What kind of question is that? What is the New Jersey governor doing to protect the LGBTQ community? What are you talking about? Are y'all having crosses that's put on your lawn or something like that? Who's out here persecuting people just because they sassy? All right. Let me hear what the rest he got to say.
Great job, runs our whole civil service. Let's hear for Allison.
And this is exactly what DEI is. This is exactly what DEI is.
We've done a lot for the broad LGBTQIA plus communities, whether it's healthcare, name on your birth certificate that you associate with, legal protections. The trans community in particular is always, it's even before Trump, feels to me like of all the communities under that umbrella, the one that's most frequently in the crosshairs. It's got the biggest healthcare risks in the trans community, biggest suicide and drug and substance abuse challenges. So again, I don't want to be a broken record, but we've done a lot. I'm incredibly proud of all that we've done. But if the feds make big moves, for instance, I can't control gender identification of the U.S. military, as an example. So there are things that are beyond us that we'll use the bully pulpit. We've been effective at that. We will use the legal levers for sure.
His name is Phil Murphy. Phil Murphy.
This isn't a trans case, but Tammy and I were talking about, I don't want to get into too much detail, but there's someone in our broader universe whose immigration status is not yet at the point that they are trying to get it to. And we said, you know what, let's have her live at our house above our garage. And good luck to the feds coming in to try to get her. So it's going to.
Did he literally just admit to a crime?
Not yet at the point that they are trying to get it to. And we said, you know what, let's have her live at our house above our garage. And good luck to the feds coming in to try to get her. So it's going to be a whole combination.
What? Did he just say that publicly? Nah, he dead serious. He's dead serious 100%. And I think that he needs to be investigated. I think that he needs to be arrested if it's true. And he needs to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. If he intentionally did this and he's admitting to it on camera, he 100% need to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. And again, these are the people that y'all voted into office and that y'all think is supposed to be best for y'all. I can't believe it. I cannot believe that he just said this out loud. No way, no how that he said that out loud. That's crazy.
As far as suing the United States Code, knowingly harboring, concealing an illegal alien, that's a violation of Title 8 United States Code 1324. I would seek prosecution, or the Secretary would seek prosecution. So maybe he's bluffing. If he's not, we'll deal with that. And as far as suing sanctuary cities, well, get in line because the Trump administration is going to do that already. Sanctuary cities are sanctuaries for criminals. There's one example, right? If the young sanctuary cities in New York City, if they would have,
you know what that sounds like to me, honestly? Him saying that. Let me bring that back up 1 minute.
Getting it.
Someone in our broader universe whose immigration status is not yet at the point that they are trying to get it to. And we said, you know what, let's have her live at our house above our garage.
It's a her.
And good luck to the feds coming in to try to get her.
You know what that sounds like to me personally, and I'm not accusing him of it. He's already done enough damage on his own. You know what this sounds like to me? It sounds like either they have a personal servant / slave that they're basically benefiting from because they know that it's an undocumented person. And so they harboring this person or they putting her up because they want to keep this person in their purview. Or it sounds like something much more sinister and that he actually likes her. Can you read between the lines here? Are you getting what I'm saying? Nobody knowingly does this, put their political future and their safety and their freedom on the line for a random her on the top of his garage. This sounds like, and I'm not accusing him, I'm not saying that this is it. It sounds like he liked to go visit the top of the garage at the middle of the night, or that they're basically using a form of slave labor. Nobody just does this for a random immigrant. Nobody does this for a random woman and say, hey, let's just put her at the top of our garage. Nobody does that. It sounds like, and again, I'm not saying that this is the case, but This is often at times what happens with a lot of these sicko dudes that is advocating for the sassy community. They often at times are sick themselves. And it sounds like somebody may be visiting the top of the garage in the middle of the night and or they want some slave labor. A random chick who's having problems with documentation status. Stop it, bro. Stop. I'm telling you, I would not be surprised if they do come back and they come with something and say, hey, this is the case. Remember what I said. Remember you, because you know me, I'm a profiler. I'm an FBI profiler. With the legs sit crossed like that too, talking all slow. Yeah, okay.
Gave us over the killer of Laken Riley. When he got arrested in New York City for endangering a child, he would have been in jail. And he would have never killed Laken Riley. Sanctuary cities are responsible for deaths of thousands of young children throughout my career. And we're going to sue him. We're going to hold him. And look, if he's got to go to the Supreme Court, that's what President Trump wanted to do. He will end sanctuary cities.
You know, there was a 2011 government accountability.
Plain Truth said, I have 2 kids by a Mexican woman. Can we have some compassion on them? No, hell no. Hell no. So we supposed to feel some compassion because you decided to bust it open for a real one? No, absolutely not. Oh, you thought that we were supposed to treat them different because you decided to have kids with somebody that you wasn't. So you decided to have kids with an illegal, and now you want compassion? Nah. Listen, if you want to keep your family, let me tell you how I do it, big dog. This is how we do it over here in my city. If you want to keep your family, you can go with them. If you want to keep your family, you just going to have to go with them, big dog. Nope. Nope. I believe in keeping families together. I think that all of y'all should go to Mexico together. That you should apply for your papers, make sure that your passport is straight, and then make sure you get your citizenship over there in Mexico and renounce your citizenship here in the United States of America. You got to go with her, go home. Go with her and go home. I used to coach this one guy. Nah, I'm not going to say that part. Go with her and go home, big dog. Go with her and go home. We don't have no mercy just because you decided that you wanted to have some kids with a Mexican woman that you ain't married to that's undocumented. You wanted to be a passport, bro. Go on over there with her. Crazy. Y'all are out of y'all mind. What is wrong with y'all? Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on y'all notifications. This is a wild show today. I don't know what's going on in here. Rob in the building. I appreciate you, Rob. Rob said, tax dollars spent on making the whole world zesty. That's what it seems like. High Tolerance says, good morning, AD folks. Driving with their blinders on. China has been smiling the whole time, telling Negroes, I feel sorry for your mother. What? What you say about my mama? Cynthia Haynes says that the Black American agenda has never been the #1 conversation for them Democrats while they're using our tax dollar for their own personal agendas. Thank you, President Donald Trump. I appreciate you, Cynthia. That's a great super chat. Poogie's friend Ray Ray says, 22 of my favorite taco trucks and 4 of my reliable tire shops have been closed down since ICE started putting in work. I'm going to miss my migraine ants. Oh, Jesus Christ. Chef 673 says, even in Mexico are having a protest about those illegal immigrants coming into their country. They're saying that many of them are committing crimes in Mexico and they don't want them there. Oh, why should we take them then? Poogie's friend Ray Ray then again says, crazy enough, I got jacked for 13 pounds of duck meat by Haitian migrants. I'm not even going to entertain this. Chef 673 says, by his very body language, Governor Phil seems to be one of them. Good luck to the feds to try to come and get him is crazy. He does. He looks like it. Honestly. True SS Jay Havoc says, I never voted for him. He plenty of trash decisions in New Jersey. Can't stand this guy. Chef 673 says, Anton, it is this case. I will say it for you. This man is sick. Yeah, he seemed like it. Nigel. Shout out to Nigel, says, at this point, Dems are begging to be prosecuted, and they all need to go to jail that's doing crimes. Bilderberg Boy says, Phil Murphy is a POS. He is the main reason why I wanted to leave New Jersey. Blame black women. I know several who campaigned for him. He increased our property taxes, auto insurance, and firearm permits. Whew. Would you support illegals if they became bag chasers? I don't believe in anybody doing anything illegal. I don't know why y'all think that changes everything. Y'all could reframe the question. Y'all could try to make it whatever it is that you want it to be, but I don't believe in supporting illegal activity. I'm just not rocking with it at all. Enos Luby says, big up to Sister Jazz, soon to be third baby mama to Umar Rashid and IBN Abdullah Johnson, born Jermaine Shoemake. Oh, God, y'all putting all of the information. Better known simply as Dr. Umar Q&A show last night. She sound like an Umar disciple. I wouldn't doubt it. Mr. Maximus says, deport the South Americans as long as they leave my Asian massage therapist alone. Slow Tuesdays are real. Mr. Joe says, Murphy just signed a bill allowing teachers to get hired without passing the required math and reading tests. Jesus, so they putting all of y'all kids in room 9? That's crazy. Again, make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Musk is uncovering an unusual amount of wasteful spending at USAID. Take a look.
For more on all of this, let's welcome back to the show Congresswoman Beth Van Dyne from House Ways and Means. Congresswoman, what do you make of this story? Is it beyond repair, as Musk says? Is it true Senator Joni Ernst says 60% of the money is wasted on things like junkets?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you look at what Senator Ernst is saying, is 60% is like on overhead and entertainment. I mean, it's crazy. So, yeah, and I agree.
Did they say 60 or 68%? Hold on. Let me back that up for a second. Let me back that thing up. Earl, who was you playing with? Back that thing up.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you look at what Senator Ernst is saying, is 60% is like on overhead and entertainment. I mean, it's crazy. So, yeah.
Congresswoman, what do you make of this story? Is it beyond repair, as Musk says? Is it true Senator Joni Ernst says 60% of the money is wasted on things like junkets?
On overhead and entertainment. I mean, it's crazy. So, yeah, and I agree.
So, wait. The USAID office, 60, at least 60% of the money that is allocated for USAID is being spent on overhead and entertainment. Yeah, dog, this got to go away, man. This has to go away. No reason in the world for us to be allocating tens of billions of dollars every single year to an agency where they're allocating 60% to overhead and entertainment, and then the other amounts they giving away to have DEI musicals over in Serbia. This is bad. This is very bad.
100% with President Trump. It's a good idea in theory, but the way that the government has executed it has been horrendous. It's been basically a slush fund with very little transparency. Look at the $1.5 million they're spending in Serbia, on trans stuff and on DEI things, and on looking at the tens of thousands of dollars that they're spending in Ireland and other places. That has nothing to do with what the fund is for.
Overhead and entertainment, meaning that it's on salaries, it's to make sure that everybody else get paid. That's a part of the agency. So the agency exists in order to create jobs for people that work at the agency so that they can also give it away to other countries. And they got to make sure that they give away. They probably got quotas for how many things they got to find to give the money away to. And then entertainment, overhead and entertainment, not overhead entertainment. All right.
So, yeah, I think it's absolutely time that our government take some accountability, that they actually hold these agencies accountable, and that they cut them off at the knees when they're not performing.
But Democrats like Jamie Raskin and Chuck Schumer are saying, they're shutting down charity work. Is that true?
It would seem not. Again, they may take a little bit of the money and do what they're supposed to do with it, but when the vast majority of the money is spent on entertainment and is slush money for other fun projects that this radical leftist administration from the past has had them work on. No, that's not where our dollars should be going. And if this is to make sure that we're having influence around the world, fine, but is it doing what it's supposed to be doing? And I think, looking at the DOGE effort to be able to go into all of these agencies, including USAID, and looking at them and making sure that those dollars are being spent correctly is exactly what we should be doing in Congress.
Yeah,
how do we know that we're not basically giving money away to other countries for them to then develop the very weapons or even some of the things that we experienced during the pandemic to make our lives a living hell? How do we know? How do we really know how they're using the money? Have we really done an audit to make sure that when we allocate money over to a specific cause or to a specific people, or when they distribute these funds, how do we know that they're actually using the funds over in Serbia to do a sassy play? How do we know who's pocketing the money? Like, what do we really know? Once the money leave our hands as taxpayers, we don't know nothing. There's probably millions of different crevices and holes that people make money off of, and that's why everybody is so upset. That is why everybody is so upset. Because when you start to do an audit, the last thing that anybody wants to hear is audit. That means I have to justify where I'm spending the money. If you audited the majority of these what do they call them? These places that y'all donate money to, these funds, these whatever they are. If you look at a lot of these places and you look at where our monies is going, would you be so confident as to say, you know what? I believe that my money is going to a good cause. 90 to 95% of most money that y'all donate to these organizations that's supposed to be for the people, they go into the company. It's for salaries, it's for overhead, it's for building costs, the building fund, furniture, all of that stuff. About 5 to 10% of what you donate then get spent on an actual cause that you donated to. So what makes you think that where the faucet don't turn off and you could just tax the people more money, that they're operating above board when it comes to a lot of these different agencies? I would guarantee you that it's probably some people that got some people that know some people that say, hey man, we about to give away some money. You need to apply for this. This is the way that you do it. This is how you get it. And then you can get this free money because we got to give it away. We got a budget. We got to give it away. We got to spend it by the federal government. Happens every single day. I've known people that get government contracts, that get certain things, that get certain handouts, and they be like, you know what? We work for this. We work for this agency. Listen, I could tell you how to get it. Hey, the state is giving away this. The federal government is giving away this. Let me tell you how to go and get this free money. Let me tell you how to go and get these millions. Let me tell you how to fill out this paperwork. This is the way that you have to do it. I guarantee you everybody is running scared because somebody got to be accountable for where our dollars is going. And when the money dries up, you know what's going to happen? We'll talk about it after this.
Sort of like we've been hearing that USAID has been thwarting and frustrating Congress, not giving over their paperwork and their accounting records. I mean, we know that government watchdogs like the GAO have reported massive waste, fraud, and abuse in USAID contracts in Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, Africa since at least 2010.
I think if most people understood where those dollars were going, that they would be more than supportive of understanding why we want to cut this off. If it was going to where they claim, where they market, that's one thing, but it's absolutely not. And it's actually not even the vast majority. We're looking at NGOs that are going exact opposite way of something that would be proactive or good for America. They're going the exact opposite way, and yet we are funding them. We are funding places like Somalia that we just had to bomb because of their terrorist activities. We're funding them $2 billion plus per year. It's absolutely ridiculous. And that information does not go out to the public. It's not transparent. And absolutely right, when you've got senators like Joni Ernst who are going after them and asking for more accountability, more transparency, more information, they basically have this attitude, we don't report to you, we don't have to answer to you, and we're not going to share it with you.
Mr. Wonderful, he also has some thoughts about all of the things that we're uncovering with this government agency audit. Check it out.
Meanwhile, President Trump's tariff once. What do you make of Elon Musk going through Washington right now with a Hoover?
I'm okay with it. And I think the American people are okay with it. Everybody knows the dirty little secret about government. It drips with fat.
Yep.
No one's ever done an exercise like this. I thought he'd get a lot more pushback from Congress, and he's not. He's going in there with a spatula, and he's scraping out billions of dollars, and people are okay with it. After all, it's taxpayers' money.
Right.
Why not do this? If you sit around your kitchen table, you got to have a budget every year.
Right.
Why can't we apply the same kind of philosophy to government? And that's why he's getting a lot of latitude and a lot of slack, even though he's a controversial guy. But look at the executional skills he has.
Sure.
There's nobody like him. Let him do his thing.
Mr. Wonderful, you are in Tokyo making a movie with who?
We don't care about that. So, yeah, I know that they finessing. Everybody know that they finessing. The finesse has been on for a long time. And let me say this. Let me just say this. Just to wrap this up. My final thoughts for this show is this. I think that there's going to be so much initial over the next 2 years. There's going to be some initial suffering. Over the next 2 years, there is going to hear me clearly. We are going to get back to traditional family values faster than you think. For everybody thought that it was going to be, hot girl season. Everybody is going to go to Tulum. We going to the Bahamas. We going to Dubai this year. Might as well cut it off right now. Just wrap it up and cut it off. Wrap it up and cut it off right now. It's over. If you're not tightening up your budget because you was living in a hot girl summer, all of this easy money, it's over. All of this fresh government money, it's over. For everybody, you know what the latest finesse that's about to get cut off? The same way that the real estate plays got cut off, the same way that the box trucks got cut off, the same way that, hey man, you can be a trucker and make all of this money got cut off. Government contracts. Over the next 2 years, government contracts, it's over, bro. It's over. It's done. All of this free money, all of these free rides, everybody that's been living on Section 8 for their whole life and they never had to get a job, everybody that's an able-bodied adult that's finessing the system, that's getting free food stamps, people that were getting all of these government contracts, people that was working these federal jobs and just chilling for all of this time, it's over. I hope you made as much money you can. I hope that you actually invested your money and your resources. I hope you did the right thing with your money. Because all of that free money, it's going, you know what the conversations is going to be? It's going to be two things. Man, it was good back then, wasn't it? It was good back then, wasn't it? Traditional families is coming back. You know why? I haven't seen one person, not one man, not one. And this is on everything. I'm a content creator. I know what's going on in the streets. I've went through all of y'all videos. I'm mining through them on a regular basis. I got people helping me mining through the videos that y'all send me inside of my emails. I haven't seen one man, not one, white, black, Asian, Hispanic, Latino. You know, I see the men that's whining about getting deported, but I don't see one man with regard to this federal government agency audit complaining about DEI or federal workers going back into the office or this whole getting layoff thing. I don't see one man doing it. Not one. I don't see one guy complaining about it. You know why? Because we weren't the ones that were benefiting from it in the first place. We weren't the ones that was benefiting from it in the first place. When the pandemic hit in 2020, the ones that were displaced the most, honestly, were women. Women of color, because I know that that's how y'all like to label yourselves. Women of color. I'm just being real with you. Listen, don't get mad. I'm preparing you for what's to come. I am not the person that's auditing the federal government. I am not the person that went and got a diversity, equity, and inclusion degree. I am not the person that went into African American studies. I am not the person that went into underwater basket weaving degrees. I have no vested interest in this whatsoever. I am not looking for another wife. I'm not looking for anything. I don't need nothing. I'm not getting nothing from it. It doesn't serve me at all to tell you the truth. So if you're going to get mad at somebody, have your displaced anger go somewhere else. It's not for me. I'm just the one that's going to give you the reality, and I'm helping you to prepare yourself. So what I'm telling you is the free rides are over. The working from home but not doing anything, the government job that you wasn't really adding no value when you was just waking up doing what you wanted to do. For those of you that don't want to go into the office and hustle and bustle and grind like a man, don't you know that that wears on your body? I was having this conversation last week on after hours. It's going to be after hours tonight. I said, listen, y'all, I don't know if y'all want to know this, but women that work their butt off, not the ones that just go to work, chill. Y'all go to work to get pretty so you can walk around in your heels and your pea coats and all of that stuff. Not the ones that go and get their nails done, you know what I'm saying, all the time during your lunch break and stuff like that. The women that got to get real jobs, because that's what y'all going to have to do. Either you're going to have to go home or you're going to have to get a real job. You're going to become a gig worker, because I'm telling you that the majority of the jobs that's going to be available, they're not going to be regular jobs. It's going to be gig work and it's going to be contracting. Gig work and contracting. If you are a person that has a good job, hold on for dear life, because we are going to go through, and before the economy explodes and before we can then benefit off of everything that the Trump administration is setting us up for, there's going to be some gnashing of the teeth. It's going to be some people that's getting laid off that don't have no other options. They're going to say that the job market is messed up. It's going to be some people that go into gig work and contracting because companies are not going to be hiring in a traditional way. It's now going to be a benefit to get a regular job that got a benefit package. And when you talk about a benefit package, your total compensation is not just based off of what your wage is. For all of y'all that was living in fairy tale land and saying, why they not paying us this much? We need to make this much. We need to do this. You didn't know that your total compensation package included what they were contributing into your 401k, what they was contributing into your life insurance, what they was contributing into your health care, what they was contributing into your package as far as what your bonuses are, all of these things, payroll package, your total compensation, even though you may say, hey, I make $90, $100, $110,000 a year, your total compensation package probably exceeded $175, $180, $190, $200,000 a year, because that was the total benefits that came along with you being an employee at that particular company. But because you were ignorant and you didn't join the bag chasers, you didn't get no knowledge, you didn't start your business, you didn't make no investments, you didn't lower your lifestyle, you ran away from home and said, I could do good by myself. Now you facing a crisis. Now you don't have a skill set to really be in a position, and you got to compete with everybody outside in the workforce. Now you got to compete with men. Now you got to raise that kid by yourself. Now you and him probably gonna be laid off at the same time because you had a kid with a person that you wasn't supposed to have a kid by, and so now you're going to have to pay the piper. How life is going to go is going to be different after 2025. We are going through a reset, and this ain't going to be the reset like the economy reset. This is going to be the reset of what reality really is for you in your life. 100%. 1,000%. You're going to be lucky to have a corporate position to cover all of your costs and for you to have great health care. Do you know how much health care coverage is? I looked it up because I got to buy it now. I looked it up. It's crazy. You know how much my COBRA coverage is if I wanted to continue with the same healthcare plan that I had when I was in corporate America? $3,800 a month. I said, no freaking way. Impossible. But I'm blessed. I'm blessed to where I don't have to send my chick back to work after being off of work for the last 17 to 18 years because I got a skill set, because I have assets, because I have, properties that are spinning off money. I have other companies. I generate a lot of revenue. And so that was extra. I never depended on it. I never changed my lifestyle to reflect it. You're going to see a lot of people, all of this high end. I got these high standards. Nah, we're going to get back to traditional ways, traditional values, all of them little trips, all of that way in which you go about doing things. The free rides is over. If you got a great job, hold on to it. If you got a great lifestyle, reduce it. Learn how to appreciate the small things. If you got a good man that's looking out for you, you better hold on to him instead of talking back too much, because you're going to be on the outs. You're going to be on the out. You don't want to be out here by yourself. I'm telling you right now. You don't want this life. You don't want to be out here by yourself trying to compete against me. It's a bunch of Antons out here that has no mercy. They not going to listen. The same way that we may give up our seat on a train is not the same way that we going to give up our opportunity for that bag. We not giving up no opportunities. I'm telling you. Don't say I didn't tell you. I'm going to mark this day, February 4th, 2025 on a Tuesday. All of this plan and this kikiing and this haw-hawing and these high standards and you tough and all. And this is not just applicable to women. This is applicable across the board. If you were not preparing yourself like I have been telling you guys to prepare yourself over the last 2 to 3 years, if you've been playing games and mincing around and not taking it serious and not dedicating yourself, not leveling up, not getting new skill sets, not getting your education, not having multiple jobs, not lowering your lifestyle, not paying off your debt, not doing all of the things that I've been advocating for you to do, but you've been giggling and talking junk and okay. Unemployment insurance in most places is less than $500 a week. Unemployment insurance in most places, I think is more closer to like $400 a week. $800 every 2 weeks. Let me see how you make that shake. It's hard. It's hard out here for a pimp. It's going to be hard. It's going to get better, but it's going to get hard. We're going to have a reset of traditional ways because it's going to be involuntary. It's not going to be based off of the fact that you want it. It's going to be based off of the fact that you're going to need it and you're going to be happy to get it. You're going to be happy to get it. I'm telling you, I'm warning you, you better make sure that you gird up. You better dedicate yourself. If you're blessed, then make sure that you stay focused. Everybody that you know that got government contracts, watch how things shake out. Everybody that was finessing on the government, all of that stunting, we gonna see who the real ballers are. Yeah. We gonna see who the real ballers are in 2025 December, January 2026. You know what I'm saying? If you're able to buy a full tank of gas and 2 dozen eggs, you're gonna be in high commodity. You're gonna be a high quality product, big dog. I promise you. If you just so happen to already have your house paid off, if you got a paid off car, it ain't gonna matter what kind of car it is, you gonna be the man. You the man, you the man, you the man. It's gonna be a change. We gonna see who the ballers are. We gonna see who really was faking the funk. We gonna see who was finessing. We gonna see people, if you gotta trade in your luxury car for a regular car, you better do it now. Because if we catch you doing it later, homie, you a window shopper. Mad at me? I think I know why. Homie, you a window shopper. We gonna see who really got it and who really was finessing, who was capping for the gram. You gonna see them longer posts. It's gonna be more text posts instead of actual pictures. We gonna see it. We gonna see it. We gonna find out who really got it and who really was just talking. All of that is going away. Homie, you a window shopper. You better be focused on being an employee of the month. All of that talk back to your boss. Remember I was telling y'all in the beginning of the stream? Check your attitude at the door. Shut your black mouth and do your job. Stop complaining about everything and doing everything that you can to cause disruption inside it. Go to work, get there at least 15 minutes early to make sure that you can beat traffic because you don't know how long it take you to get to work no more. Shut it up. We grabbing that face, we shutting that mouth, and we going to do our jobs and we going to take care of business. We getting back to traditional family values. Shut it up. You better shut up. I got my clipboard. Where I got a clipboard in here somewhere? Where my clipboard at? I'm writing people up. Oh, 30 seconds late. Oh, Mr. Daniels, no. I had to drop my daughter off at daycare. Daycare, huh? I got it. Now, you know that was your last offense, right? You know that was your last offense, right? Now you're going to see all of the humility come out. What can I do to make it up to you, Mr. Daniels? I don't want your box. I don't want your box. I want your badge. I want your resignation. I want you to clear out your locker. Don't worry, I already got security out there. They're going to escort you to your locker. They're going to go ahead and get you all of your belongings. Let me know what you need. We're going to have a Cobra packet. HR is going to escort you out to your car and get everything you need right now because your badge will be deactivated in 30 seconds. Oh, we not doing it. I'm only 30 seconds late. Don't worry about it. Don't even worry about it. Now you could take the whole week off. You could take the whole year off if you want. You could be as late as you want now. We not worried about lateness no more. Take a vacation. Take a permanent one. Take an unpaid vacation while you at it. You know what I'm saying? Let me read some of these super chats. I'm going to get y'all up out of here for the day. Mr. Jones, my last question was to folk fund illegals must go. Yeah, I know. Tony Nichols in the building says, Anton, don't always agree with you, but I appreciate your consistency on calling out toxic culture. Iron sharpens iron. That's facts. I got you, big dog. I appreciate you. Manuel AG says, D show is almost over already. Time flies when you're listening to the Millionaire Morning Show, but I promise y'all to give y'all at least 2 hours every day, big dog. I appreciate you. Devastator says, that's why I lowered my lifestyle. Lower your lifestyle, run up a bag, and then make the investments. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. I'm going to show you where to put your money at and how to double it, triple it, quadruple it, and get that money. All right? I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Y'all know we got after hours tonight on a Tuesday. After hours tonight. And then we back here tomorrow morning. All right? Back to back. We going back to back. Shout out to y'all. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are the greatest audience on earth. And then you're going to see me with my friends Molly, Quentin, Slimmy, and Carrie tonight. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Tell your friends and family. Hit a like on the way out the door for me. And then make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm out. Peace.